A lot of the times when I do these sort of videos and I talk about investment in Nigeria, I always come on from the emotional angle and say things like, it's almost from a point of, please, you guys, it's like, please, it's almost like we are begging you. Since I started my program and getting to learn about the real estate and the planning system here, I'm realizing that I think it's a privilege for you to be able to invest in Nigeria and as an emerging market. And I'm going to give you reasons why investing in Nigeria, Lagos specifically, is way better. And I'm talking about from both a developer point of view, so most of you be able to deploy huge capital to, get something, and even from a residential point of view. In fact, the residential point of view is that I don't think you want to actually live and die here, honestly, because let's even start with it. You don't really enjoy your money like you enjoy in Nigeria. Like, even your fast cars, except you're probably going across the country. How do you even get to flex that? Number one. Number two, the weather here is crazy. Thank God we are getting to summer. It's autumn now. We're getting to summer, so everywhere becomes. But there are such extremes. It's really cold or really hot. And now even in the in this season, the spring rather, now in the spring, the sun can actually be shining. Now it's 10 degrees, but I still have to wear a jacket. It's crazy. One of my greatest shocks, culture shocks you may call it, coming to the UK, was that the sun can be shining and it's really cold. And the truth of the matter is, you don't need to have 4 months out of the 12 months where you're miserable, you have the flu, you can't go anywhere. The truth of the matter is, what if you could enjoy 9 months of adequate serenity and in the so-called sinner climes? Then you have 4 months out of the year where you could go to your real estate investment in a tropical region where you're able to enjoy those benefits and have the best of both worlds. We're seeing more and more investments geared towards that, such that you have a place in your home country, Africa preferably, and then also you have a place in the West. So join us as we will be guiding you on how to do that profitably and safely in our real estate exchange event on the 5th of March 2025. I'll be there with a host of other people. I'm the founder of Ownahome, and we'll have the founder of Nigerian housing markets there, other developers, other professionals in the industry. So join us and let's help you do it. HNIs, celebrities, all do this. And that's why you see most of your face are now in Nigeria. And in April, May, they'll come back to the UK. And if you could have something that somewhere to go back to, even if after you retire in a couple of years, we want to help you to do that safely and smoothly and profitably, keyword profitably. So join us in our event. More details will be in the link in the bio. Hope to see you there. I don't think a human being should live all their life with that, TBH. But that's from, like I said, I think I've been approaching it from more of the emotional end. And that's why some of you are still kind of, dilly-dallying and, not making the that push to actually start to invest. But, let me explain how the system is here. Let's say you want to buy land and you want to build, a couple of units. You have to do your due diligence, and the due diligence takes a lot of time. There is a whole plethora of surveys. You have the due diligence for your survey, topographical, are there any easements, are there any right of way, traffic report, contamination report, and do you know you're getting people involved already in all of this? You're paying people. So from the get-go, you need to do all these things. Are there any covenants, any restrictive covenants on the site? You do a whole lot. And then when you go to the planning survey, first of all, your land is not going to be as valuable if your land doesn't have a planning permission. So, for you to actually get your land where developers and people that are going to pay you a premium want to buy it, you need to have a planning permission. And for you to have a planning permission, you need to get a planning consultant, probably get an architect, get a lawyer, get a whole team. And these people are not cheap. And before you can actually get a planning approval, first of all, you need to go to the local plan. And the local plan is going to show you the demand and the supply for residential units. How many do we have? They have to the T, the number of square feet of all residential dwellings. They have the deficit. How many do we need? Sometimes the deficit is in the tens of thousands. Sometimes it's in the thousands. You know, very small numbers. You come to Nigeria and you're seeing a place like Lagos that has 2 million homes deficit, housing deficit. So 2 million plus people are looking for homes that they cannot even buy. Then you're going to deal with things like heritage. You're not just going to build anything. You need to ask, are there listed buildings in this place? You know, how do you, is it a conservation area? For instance, now that people are just buying Ekpe, the government can just deem that place as a conservation. Lagos has conservation areas, but you can just deem the whole, you know, they call it the countryside here. So you cannot just build in the countryside. And for you to build in the countryside, you need to show them that there is no land in the urban area. There's no more land remaining, and then you have to move to that area. You know, you need to pay attention to what you're building, the visual line of what you're building. Does it affect any sight line? There are several things you look at. The place you're building, what's the level of development permissible? How many floors? There are areas, is it a core shopping area? Is it a core residential area? You know, just all of these things, and all of these things is money. You're paying people. And sometimes, if your land doesn't have a planning permission, it can take within 1 to 5 years to actually get a planning permission for a site. And so you now have companies that actually their job is to promote sites. So they will meet a landowner and they'll tell the landowner, we can help you promote it, we can pay all the planning costs, we can pay all the costs, and then when you get the planning permission, you're going to get maybe 10 or 20% of the land cost that you sell to a developer. Yeah. So but if you come to a place like Lagos, literally in 1 week, we can be done with title and survey search. You know, and when we are done with the title and survey search, you can get your building approval in 6 days. I went for last year. Lagos State government was trying to beat down the amount of time to get planning approval. 6 days, you have gotten it. Buy land in Ikate, do probably 20 floors. You know, you get that, bam, in a month. You can actually, you know, or if you go to Ekpe, you can get your title in a year. You can get your CFO in a year. You can even start building, although it's not right. Start building, and then you go back and, you know, just tell them that, okay, you know, what do we need to get approval here? You know, and you compare it to what it is here, and then you make your decision. And also, another thing I want to say is that you can't speculate. Look at all these things that I've mentioned. Unlike a place like Pinnock Beach now, you go to Pinnock Beach, you see very, very fine houses, worth billions and billions. You just see bush in the middle of, you know, of a very, very fine estate. So people are sitting on billions worth of land. When they are ready, they just sell 200 square meters, sell 300 square meters, sell this one, lock up the other one. You can't do that nonsense. You can't do it here. You know, except, like, especially when it now falls into like a major area, the city is trying to do this. You know, you have things on compulsory purchases, you have things on easement, you have things on if government plans to do, you know, a road, a traffic, you know, transport infrastructure, all of these things, and you need to check it. And the people that are involved, you know, for large scale development, planning costs can go up to £300,000, and then that's just to get approval. And sometimes they can reject you after spending that much. You don't have to spend extra with appeal. You get a lawyer, you go and appeal that. You know, while somebody that has used that £300,000 has probably gotten, you know, his Ikoyi development, or, you know, Lekki or somewhere Ikati, and has already even probably cashed out. Anyways, like I said, this may not be representative of the entire situation, that for large-scale development, this is pretty much it. And we've been trying to convince you guys from a more historic and, invest in your country, do stuff in your country. But it's not even that easy. I have a developer that contacted me, and he's doing something in Durham Road in London. He contacted me, but he's still doing something in Ikeja, because you cannot beat the turnaround time that you do something in Nigeria, get back your money, you're able to mark up crazily, there's demand, and things are not perfect, but things are faster, and things are also much predictable. That's why, the conservative government, they always try to reduce the powers of planning, because it actually creates uncertainty for investors. So you don't know whether your development is going to be approved, you don't know how long it's going to take, and you don't know how fast. So that's it. But if you're a Nigerian in the UK, Nigerian in the diaspora, think of investing in your country. That's it. So with this viewpoint, I hope I've been able to convince and not confuse you that investing in Nigeria, investing in Lagos, can be a bit more beneficial than the long-term strategy, especially because then it is your country. And I read an article, I saw an article that 20 billion, Egypt is becoming a hot market. And I'm going to do a video on how much similar Egypt is to Nigeria. In fact, Egypt has higher remittances than Nigeria. I think it's twice. Nigeria is about $20 billion from immigrants in the diaspora. Egypt is about, I think, twice that. Egypt has the highest. And Egypt also, they are doing this, their new capital city, taking it away from Cairo to a new place. And they don't have the best government. But now it's a hot market. People want to invest, like over $20 billion. Investors want to actually put into the economy in Egypt. So emerging markets are where they are at. That's all from me today. Kindly like, kindly share, kindly subscribe, and I'll see you at the very next video. Bye-bye.